Welcome to Reno's World, where every episode we peel back the layers of the story they want you to believe and reveal the raw reality behind it. Today, we're diving into the case of a 3-year-old who claims to be the reincarnation of his mother's brother. We'll explore both the captivating narrative and the scientific facts that either back it up or debunk it. If you love uncovering the truth behind the mysteries, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Let's get into it. In a quiet suburban neighborhood where every house seemed to hide its own secret, the Wilson family's life took an unexpected turn that blurred the lines between life and death. Their story began with a loss that had never quite healed. The untimely death of Harold, Emily Wilson's beloved younger brother. Harold had been a vibrant soul with a contagious laugh, a daring spirit, and a deep connection with the family that left an indelible mark on everyone who knew him. After years of mourning and coming to terms with Harold's absence, Emily eventually found solace in building a new life with her husband and their young son, Lucas. From the moment Lucas was born, there was an unexplainable aura about him, a subtle echo of someone from the past. Emily's instincts told her that there was more to her son than met the eye, something that defied ordinary explanation. As Lucas grew into a curious and bright child, peculiarities began to emerge that left the family questioning reality itself. At the tender age of 3, Lucas started to articulate memories that did not belong to him. One rainy afternoon, while the soft patter of raindrops created a soothing background, Lucas sat cross-legged on the living room floor and recounted stories that mirrored the life of Harold in striking detail. He spoke of secret hideaways in the backyard, cherished moments by the river where Harold used to fish, and even his favorite flavor of ice cream, an odd coincidence that could not be easily dismissed. These recollections were not vague or hazy. They were specific, almost as if they were meticulously recorded memories from a past life. Emily listened in a mixture of wonder and trepidation as Lucas described the well-worn path to a secluded grove behind their old house, a path that, according to family lore, was Harold's special retreat. The details were so precise that even the family dog, Max, seemed to tilt his head in curiosity at the unfolding mystery. Adding another layer to the enigma was a peculiar birthmark on Lucas's left shoulder. It was an unusual pattern of swirling lines, much like the distinctive mark Harold had sported during his youth. The uncanny resemblance between Lucas's birthmark and Harold's ignited a quiet conversation within the family about the possibility of reincarnation. The idea, once dismissed as fantasy, suddenly became impossible to ignore when every other detail continued to confirm its presence. As days turned into months, Lucas's recollections grew even more elaborate. On one memorable evening, as the wind howled softly against the windows, Lucas recounted an experience of a long-forgotten journey. He described the sound of a favorite song that he said once filled the air during a family gathering, a melody that had been Harold's personal favorite. His narration was not just a simple recitation. It was filled with emotion, as if the memories carried with them the weight of lived experiences from another lifetime. Then came the moment that shattered any remaining doubts. During a visit to their grandmother's house, Lucas walked directly to the backyard without hesitation and began digging in the dirt with his small hands. "It's here! I buried it here!" he exclaimed. Emily and the rest of the family watched in disbelief as Lucas unearthed an old tin box, Harold's long-lost time capsule. Inside were trinkets, childhood notes, and a faded Polaroid of Harold as a boy, grinning mischievously at the camera. There was no logical explanation for how Lucas knew the exact location of this buried memory. It was the final, undeniable proof that Harold had indeed returned. Within the family, the phenomenon was met with a mixture of awe and acceptance. Emily knew in her heart that Lucas carried the spirit of her lost brother, a truth that brought her both solace and bittersweet longing. Her husband, once skeptical, now found himself grappling with the reality that reincarnation was not just a mystical concept, but something unfolding in their own home. Every family gathering, every quiet moment became imbued with the comforting certainty that Harold's presence had been restored. As the Wilson family's story spread, experts in past life studies took an interest. Dr. Jim Tucker, a leading researcher in children's past life memories, examined Lucas's case and found it to be one of the most compelling examples of reincarnation on record. The details Lucas provided were beyond what any young child could fabricate, and the physical proof of the time capsule solidified his testimony. His analysis lent credibility to the family's experience and opened up a broader discussion on the possibility that the soul's journey does not end with death. The community was left in awe, torn between wonder and disbelief. Some dismissed the phenomenon as a bizarre coincidence, but many knew they had witnessed something extraordinary. Neighbors whispered about the unusual occurrences, and online discussions blossomed, with people sharing similar experiences and debating the profound implications of Lucas's memories. Local newspapers and blogs carried the story, adding to the growing lore of the supernatural and sparking interest in similar cases around the world. Beyond the scientific and communal intrigue, the story of Lucas and Harold touched on deeper philosophical truths about life and the human spirit. It raised questions about whether our lives are isolated incidents or parts of an endless continuum, where each soul returns in a new form to complete unfinished business or simply to continue its journey. The Wilsons embraced these ideas wholeheartedly, finding comfort in the belief that love and connection are forces that transcend the physical boundaries of time and space. In their home, everyday moments took on new significance. The sound of a familiar laugh in the hall, the unexpected brush of a hand, or even a favorite song echoing from a dusty record collection became symbols of Harold's lingering presence. Emily would often sit quietly in the twilight hours, watching Lucas play, and feel the unmistakable warmth of her brother's spirit surrounding them. It was as if Harold had returned not merely as a memory, but as an active participant in their lives, a guardian, a friend, and a reminder that some bonds are eternal. Lucas continued to grow, and over time, his past life memories began to gently fade, as if making room for the new experiences of his current life. Yet, for Emily and the family, the legacy of Harold remained vibrant and ever-present. They celebrated his life during special occasions and recounted his stories with pride, forever grateful for the miraculous return that had allowed them to reconnect with him in such a tangible way. The phenomenon of reincarnation was no longer a subject of abstract debate. It had become an undeniable reality in their everyday lives. The story of Lucas and Harold stands as a remarkable testament to the mysterious and enduring nature of the human spirit. It is a narrative woven with threads of sorrow, joy, mystery, and undeniable truth, a story that challenges the finality of death and affirms that love, in its purest form, is everlasting. Every whispered memory, every inexplicable detail, confirmed that the cycle of life and death was not an end, but a transformation, a promise that those we lose remain with us, often in the most unexpected of ways. In the end, the Wilson family's experience is a celebration of life's mysteries, a confirmation that the soul's journey is far more complex and wondrous than the limitations of our earthly understanding can ever reveal. Their home, their hearts, and their very lives were forever changed by the undeniable truth that Harold had returned, reaffirming that sometimes the impossible is not only possible, but a living, breathing part of reality. In the realm of reincarnation research, evidence both supporting and refuting extraordinary cases like of Lucas has sparked intense debate. Proponents of the meticulous work of researchers such as Dr. Jim Tucker and the late Ian Stevenson, who documented cases where young children recalled past life memories with startling precision. These researchers collected testimonies that included detailed personal histories, physical birthmarks corresponding to previous injuries, and behavior seemingly out of sync with the child's known environment. For instance, Lucas's vivid recollections of Harold's favorite hangouts and the discovery of a long-buried time capsule echo similar cases where children provided verifiable details of previous lives. Such evidence is compelling, suggesting that under certain conditions, reincarnation could be a phenomenon warranting serious scientific inquiry. Yet, critical analysis raises questions about the reliability of these accounts. Skeptics argue that the evidence is often anecdotal and fraught with methodological challenges. One major concern is the phenomenon of cryptomnesia, where forgotten information resurfaces without the individual realizing its origin. In Lucas's case, It's plausible that repeated family stories and environmental cues contributed subconsciously to his narrative, making his memories appear as if they originated from another life. Psychological research into false memories and suggestion shows that young children are particularly susceptible to incorporating external influences into their recollections. When parents, friends, or even local legends repeatedly share stories about Harold, these narratives can become internalized, blurring the lines between personal memory and external narrative. Another layer of complexity arises from the nature of testimonial evidence itself. Witness accounts, no matter how emotionally charged, can be influenced by confirmation bias, a tendency to interpret information in a way that confirms pre-existing beliefs. For Emily and her family, the overwhelming emotional desire to reconnect with a lost loved one might inadvertently lead to an overemphasis on any details that seem to affirm reincarnation. This is compounded by the lack of rigorous controls and double-blind methodologies in many of these studies, leaving room for misinterpretation or even unintentional fabrication of evidence. As such, while the testimonies are heartfelt and often striking, they do not constitute incontrovertible proof of reincarnation. Additionally, some critics point to the possibility of selective memory and narrative construction over time. As stories are retold and embellished, details may evolve, creating an increasingly coherent yet ultimately constructed narrative. This process of memory reconstruction is well documented in cognitive science and raises valid concerns about the authenticity of such extraordinary claims. Despite these controversies, the psychological impact of Lucas's case remains undeniable. Whether one views the evidence as a window into the mysteries of the human soul or as an intricate tapestry of subconscious memory and cultural reinforcement, the case compels us to examine our deepest beliefs about life, death, and identity. The debate is far from settled. Each new case adds layers of complexity and invites further research. Both sides of the argument agree on one point: that the human mind is a vast and sometimes enigmatic realm, capable of holding memories that challenge our conventional understanding of existence. This duality of evidence and skepticism ensures that the story remains compelling, urging us to keep questioning and listening intently to the whispers of our own subconscious. Thanks for tuning into Reno's World, where every episode we expose the hidden truths behind the stories they want you to believe and reveal the raw reality. If today's deep dive left you questioning everything, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more truth uncovered. Stay curious, keep questioning, and remember, the truth is out there. I'm Reno Rains, signing off until next time.